Yeah, this is an episode of Table Read. Table Read is an amazing podcast where we are just going to be plainly reading people's comedy. The idea for this show is that people are funny. People are constantly writing comedy all the time, and people have mountains and mountains of sketches that they've written for teams, classes, theaters, and shows that they're trying to put up. And we want this podcast to be a fun, amazing space for people to just come and read their stuff. This isn't class. We're not producers. We're not giving notes. We just think that people are cool and people need to hear sketches on their way to work. People need to hear sketches in their ears instead of, I don't know, like true crime stuff. Yeah, so my name is Jonathan Gaffney. I am one of the hosts of this podcast. And I have my co-host here.
I'm Sam Locks. I also produce this podcast. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, we're not gonna give accolades for ourselves. Just know that we are the two co-hosts of this podcast. It's not about us. It's about our cool guests.
It is.
And we have two people here who are amazing comedians who we're so excited to have on the show. Mackenzie Jaquish is a New York-based stand-up comedian, improviser, producer, writer, and actor. Currently, Mackenzie is the lead producer at Pretty Funny Productions, a female-led comedy collective she started in New York. The collective produces with comics and venues across New York City and strives to put female voices at the forefront of every show. Through this collective, Mackenzie has produced over 30 shows within its first year.
Wow. Quickly
became the youngest producer at Shaw TV and had her own 9-episode series produced through the network.
Damn.
But it's not even done. From there, she left to work for Chorus Entertainment as a digital content producer and a writer for their country music stations. Since she's put up stand-up shows in cities like Seattle, Philadelphia, Boston, and Rhode Island. And she has built a strong following in NYC. And you can catch her live at comedy theaters, including the Brooklyn Comedy Collective, Caveat, The Pit, and Asylum New York City shows.
I hated that so much.
That's very cool.
Well, get used to it.
Very cool.
I've never been more uncomfortable. You were like, send me your bio. And I'm like, yeah, they won't use the whole thing.
No, we're going to use the whole thing.
Like,
it's for you.
Take parts out of it. Yeah.
No. This is not about taking parts out of things.
No, I feel like a lot of the comedians that we're going to have on, as we read their bios, we're going to be like, oh, I'm going to say something nice about you. And all the comedians are going to be like, stop it.
Yeah.
Please don't say nice things about me.
I'm a horrible person.
Yeah. It's like, you're really funny and you're really cool. And it's like, please don't. And yeah, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thank you
guys.
Thank you both.
Immediately, I lose my voice as soon as we start recording. It's gone. Thank you for having us. And obviously, I brought along my best friend.
Besties for life. Maybe though, actually.
Maybe, yeah.
Who we have here is Taylor Graves. Taylor Graves is an amazing impersonator. She's impersonator.
Yeah.
She does the impressions amazingly. You can find her on TikTok. Where can we find you on TikTok?
Taylor G. It's TAYLEEG. I'm working with my marketing team on changing that just because I don't have a marketing team.
You have a marketing team.
It was a bad
Because if you did, I would ask for it.
Yeah, no, it's me. Team of one. But no, it's TikTok's actually, I used to hate it because I was like, I'm not cool enough. And now I'm like, it's taken off, so I like it.
Yeah, I actively still hate it. I liked it at first, and then it took 3 months of my life away.
Yeah, well.
Because I was in bed watching it, and I was like, this is awful.
When time sucks, when the scrolling happens.
Yeah. The
But
pandemic was bad.
I like it for my content.
Yeah,
that's great.
Because it likes it.
People who do like short content, that tends to go pretty well for them on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I would be so scared of Gen Z or whoever the young people are.
Yeah.
just being like, you're not wearing 90s fashion or whatever is cool now. Like, I don't know. Like,
they're not nice on
No.
it, you know?
Yeah.
No. But it's gotten me really, I got a thick skin because of it. I just don't even look anymore. I just don't look at the haters.
Well, that's why you need a marketing team.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. I don't pay attention to the feedback, so yeah.
yeah. The cool, very young haters.
I thought you were about to introduce me as the cool, very young hater.
Oh my God. All right, cool. So why don't we just read the first sketch?
Yeah, I feel like a little bit of like, may I give backstory on the
Give
first sketch?
backstory, please.
I'm like a stand-up comedian, like first and like foremost when I do anything else. But I was given this opportunity to be in a show called The Old School Sketch Show, which was like a very long-running show at the Pit NYC.
It's a very cool show.
I really, really enjoyed the experience. And they wanted me to write this sketch, and it was really important to me that there was one in the show that was just all the females.
Mm-hmm.
And the females I was working with all, like Taylor, do a lot of impressions. Sam, I don't expect your Giselle Bundchen to be amazing. It's okay.
As I said before,
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest on pop culture, but
yeah, so this is a sketch about all the hot, successful women in the world getting together to date Pete Davidson.
nice.
I'm sure this is actually how it went down.
Who was the director when you did Old School Sketch Show?
I was Sonny Atwell.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Sonny a lot. He's a cool guy.
Sonny's a very cool guy. He actually was the first person I ever met in New York.
Oh wow. That's very cool.
And when the pandemic was like starting to open back up, comedy was starting to open back up after the pandemic. I was like so new to comedy at the time in New York, and I didn't even know where to begin. And I remember having a conversation with him being like, well, how do you get booked on shows? And he was like, well, you do it this way. You go to a show, you meet the producer, and like this whole thing. And I'm like,
the good spiel.
I think there's an easier way.
Yeah, it's dating Pete
No,
Davidson.
it's dating Pete Davidson.
That's the easy way.
Yeah.
The easier way, which turned out to be the incredibly not easier, but just different way, was me producing my own shows. And now Sonny has been in a lot of them, which is very cool. Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah. It's definitely a lot easier to produce your own shows in comedy. I feel like that's kind of the backdoor trick a lot of people don't realize until they're really way later into the game.
Yeah. And it's just a really great way to control your voice in it.
Yeah.
Because I found I was getting cast a lot in shows to be the female. They were gonna have 10 male comics, and then they're and we need one female, and you will go after all of them, and it's just a great way to set yourself up for failure. So that was the plan. We're doing a podcast.
I know.
I was really thoughtful.
And you're pulling into a monologue.
Excuse me, airplane mode. Ever heard of it?
Sorry, was it because a woman was talking? You had to go on your phone.
Here's the thing. My iPhone has toxic male energy.
Yeah, apparently, 3 women can't have a conversation without your iPhone giving its input.
Yeah. My iPhone is the patriarchy, and I'm extremely sorry. It gaslights, it negs. It's a really bad dude.
Love bombs.
Anyway.
Keep gatekeeping, Apple.
Back to Pete Davidson.
So I don't know. I like the idea that there's all the hot, successful women in the world get together to talk about the important stuff.
Yeah.
Perhaps they do it monthly. Perhaps they do it weekly. I would like to think that they do, though. So that's what this sketch is about. I'm so sorry there's not a part for you. I don't know how to write for men.
It's cool.
I mean,
It's
just
cool.
came back for that.
Yeah. You can be Pete Davidson in it. He doesn't have any lines.
Fine. I'm just gonna. I guess I think this is how I think Pete Davidson man spreads a lot.
He man spreads a lot. Yeah,
he sort of just leans back like this.
Yeah.
I don't really know how he acts.
He kind of does this with his face.
Yeah, he moves a lot. Yeah.
He kind of has a lot of tattoos too. Maybe you should go get some tattoos.
There's a tattoo place right on the corner.
I should have
really
prepped more for this podcast. These are early days. These are early days in our podcast. Don't know how close I should be to the mic. Should have gotten tattoos to be Pete Davidson.
How does Giselle talk?
She's German.
Wait, Brazilian though.
Oh, she's Brazilian? I'm sorry.
Her last name is Bundchen, so it's German.
Yeah.
But she is from Brazil. I don't know. That's not an accent.
I definitely cannot do a Brazilian accent. That is not something I
You know what though? I'm gonna throw in a line here that and don't use your accent this time. I'll throw in that line for you.
If you want to do a German Giselle, that'd be funny too.
All right. So we all say so interior, hot, successful women's headquarters. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls are hydrated girls. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls have stomach problems. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls support each other. Thank you all for joining me for this emergency meeting of the Hot Successful Women's Club. I've called in only the single members of our group today as we have an urgent matter that pertains to all of you. So before we begin, let's quickly take attendance. Vice President Kim Kardashian.
Here.
Treasurer Giselle Bundchen, please don't use your accent today. Can you just talk like an American?
Present.
Thank you. All right. And member Julia Fox.
Julia left a note saying that her and Drake are getting back together for Valentine's Day, so she actually can't make the meeting.
All right, fine. Giselle, can you take notes so that we can fill her in later? Okay, so, well, as you all know, Queen Elizabeth was next in line to date Pete Davidson. And since her passing, she has left us with an overage of 4 months that needs to be filled ASAP. I will now hear your arguments as to why you should get to date him next.
Thank you, President Cyrus. I know my rental on him ended in August, but this is my official petition to re-up my contract with him. Courtney's wedding and Chloe's baby daddy drama has left me without a storyline for the new season of the show.
Since leaving Tom Brady, I have given up a lot, but nothing compares to what I gave up for the 15 years we were married. We all know the side effects of steroids. If anyone deserves a little BDE, it's me.
Yeah. Wow, those are all really great reasons for why you should date him next. As president, I'll make the final decision. I choose myself, actually. Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, I divorced Kanye West so that I could join this club, and this is how you repay me.
Don't even get me started with the bad marriages. I was married to that meathead for the past decade.
Okay, please. I'm the one that deserves him. I can buy my own flowers, but I also want him to tattoo my name on his chest. I want the best of both worlds.
Ladies, what are we doing? This isn't the handsome men club. We don't fight like this.
You're right. Besides, last time 2 members fought over a man, it almost broke up the group.
Hey, we don't talk about the Jen and Angelina fight of 05.
Exactly. So let's all sit back down, take a deep breath, drink our emotional support water bottles, and work this out because that's what hot, successful women do.
I have a thought. What if none of us date him?
But the reason we invented Pete Davidson in the lab in 2014 was so that hot, successful women could stop dating men who aren't worthy. We designed him to be the ideal piece of arm candy. Cute, but not distracting. Devoted, but has a career of his own. And willing to take any Instagram photo with you.
I know, but I think he's starting to develop feelings, and I think our Frankenstein is starting to become a real person.
All right, well, Vice President Kim, I think you're going to make the final call on this one. Okay. Motion granted. Pete Davidson will be set free from the hot, successful women's mansion and be free to live his life as he chooses. This concludes our meeting.
Gorgeous, gorgeous girls are hydrated girls. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls have stomach problems. Gorgeous, gorgeous girls support each other. Blackout.
Blackout. All right, now, do we clap? Yeah, let's give everyone a round of applause.
I must say the gorgeous, gorgeous girls thing is such a tongue twister.
I know.
But as someone who is gorgeous and has stomach problems, I find it very relatable.
Very relatable.
It was like at the time that I was writing, it was like when that trend around TikTok was like going off, where they were like, gorgeous, gorgeous girls sleep until noon. Like it was like a thing. You'll also notice people obviously, it's a podcast and you can't see it. I changed from Miley Cyrus to Taylor Swift like twice in this, like the writing wise, because originally I played Taylor Swift in it, but I don't sound like Taylor Swift, and this was a podcast, so I made that change like yesterday to be Miley. Yeah.
I mean, either way. You know?
This also, were you recently in Old School Sketch Show? Is this like a recent sketch?
Yeah,
it feels recent. Yeah.
It was about a month ago, or I think maybe 2 at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Periodically wise.
Yes.
This sketch is so much fun. First of all, great sketch. Second of all, great Kim Kardashian.
That was
such a good Kim Kardashian.
Good.
Oh I mean, no one can. I mean, if you're listening to this, you can't see how good Taylor was as Kim. But Taylor was. I thought that I was just looking at Kim Kardashian.
Her mannerisms changed.
I was like, whoa, Kim is here. I was trying to do my best. Pete Davidson over here is not speaking. I was just taken out of it because the Kim was so good.
Well, thanks.
No problem. Third, it was a fun sketch. Fourth, I wish that it went down like this. I wish that there was a gaggle of extremely hot women, and amazing women just like carving the world up for their pleasure.
I hope it is that way.
Yeah. Instead of what actually probably happened, which is Pete Davidson being like, yo, on Instagram, and then they're just like, now you're married to him. Like, I assume that's how you like date Pete Davidson.
Yeah, probably. Oh, I don't know.
I've heard. I had a friend when I first moved to the city, and like, of course, we like parted ways because your first friend in the city never is your
actual friend.
Yeah. But she like met him once.
Oh,
and he like was like hitting on her.
Stop.
And
my God.
And she like had a boyfriend, so she didn't say anything. And I was like, fuck your boyfriend. Like, Pete Davidson. But like, he was just like, man, brunettes with big eyes, they always get me. So like, that's his type.
I wouldn't be able to, he would never like me then.
But you're never out of everyone at this table, you get to date.
Yeah. I had a roommate once about a year ago, like in the middle of the pandemic, who like ran into him.
Oh my god.
But he was like trying to not look like Pete Davidson, but my roommate was like, no, I'm certain that was Pete Davidson.
I feel like he's the new like Maury. Like people used to say you'd run into Maury in New York. If you run into Pete Davidson, you're a New Yorker.
Yeah. Or John Mulaney.
Or
Lana Glazer.
Guys, if I ran into John Mulaney, I would be dead.
I ran into Seth Meyers a few times.
Oh my gosh.
Like
Seth
to the point where I was like, are you following me?
I ran into
why are you so obsessed with me, Seth?
What's the guy on CNN with the white hair? Anderson Cooper? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I ran into him twice around like the Broadway area.
Oh,
which was like super random.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all the late night shows are near there.
They film around there.
Like
all
the
their
Colbert
studios
shows
are around
down
there.
there.
Yeah.
But West Village, I saw Anderson Cooper riding his bike in West Village once.
Seth Meyers, I think, also lives in the West Village.
Probably.
Yeah.
I like haven't seen any celebrities since like living here. I've seen like the few like Sex and the City cast members, and like
really?
that's it. Yeah.
Oh.
I know that.
You said that as if that's like what everyone experiences. Like
because
we all moved to New York and we all see the entire cast of Sex and the City.
We've always seen them. Every
it
time
doesn't
we go
matter
outside.
where you live. It doesn't matter how long. Like
they
your
greet
first
you.
week. Yeah. Sarah Jessica Parker will just walk up to you and start unloading about her love life the second you move here.
And
the
we all
second
go to
you move
art
to New
gallery
York.
openings.
Yeah.
And,
That's what New Yorkers do.
fashion shows.
It's New York Fashion Week this week, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it this
So,
week? Oh my
yeah.
gosh. I'm trying to think of like who I've run into. I don't so much run into celebrities, but like my first month here, people would stop me because they thought I was Evan Rachel Wood.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Because she had like just moved back to New York.
Mhm.
And so I was getting that one like constantly.
That's
to
so
the
cool.
to the point where it stopped me from going to Central Park.
Oh my God.
Because that's like where it was happening.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Should we do the next sketch?
Which is about Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh my
That's
God.
so
Wow.
funny.
What?
This one is like, I have one line at the end, but it's mostly Taylor is such an amazing impressionist. She can do like any voice you like give her,
Oh my god.
which might be like a fun thing to try to do.
Cool. Yeah, no, but the other thing that's great, just to reiterate what I was saying before, is that like, I don't know, like people write stuff that you can't sometimes physically do.
Yeah.
Because of the production value, because of like whatever. And so why not just, you can still read it. It's still valid. It's still fun.
Yeah.
if you have a spaceship landing in front of, or just like something exploding or whatever it is, if it's funny and it's written well, just say it.
I love that, but I think like I struggle with that when it comes to writing at all. I can't write something's going to explode unless I know how it's going to explode in real life. And that's something I've struggled with since I was like 7 years old. Like I couldn't watch cartoons because I'm like, how? Yeah. How is that happening? Like the magic in Mary Poppins did not make sense to me. I wouldn't accept it. And that like it bleeds into my writing though. Yeah.
That's really interesting because whenever I would like take a sketch class, they'd always tell you to write with like $1 million budget. Yeah. And like really try to like do what seems impossible. So everything I've ever written is just like, I could never produce this. I do not have the funds to do it.
But that actually brings up like the craziest thing about Canada versus America is like, I feel like America's like, what do you want to do? Like dream as big as you want. Like kids, like $1 million budget. You got it. Yeah. Whereas Canada, they're like, you're going to write a sketch? That's real cute. Who do you think's gonna watch it? Like they make you ask those questions.
They're realistic about it.
They're to like a brutal point. They're realistic about it.
Damn.
So Canada made you a good pragmatic writer because it's a good skill to have. Canada is like, don't be too crazy in your writing.
Canada taught you to work with limitations.
Work within your limitations.
Which like if you watch any Canadian content, it's very clearly within their limitations. They're like the smallest budget TV shows.
That's why. Yes. That must be why a lot of Canadian comedians move to New York, like Sam B and whatnot, because
I mean, like
makes sense.
Martin Short is Canadian.
Martin Short,
Mike Myers, like
Mike Myers.
We got all the big ones.
I mean, the whole Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek started in Canada. Yeah, it was a Canadian show.
And before that, with Christopher Guest, all of his stuff, wasn't it? Like, I mean, a lot of the same people.
And Eugene Levy, and
You're predestined for success.
Well, apparently.
You are.
The track record is already very
you're
high.
Canadian. It's in your blood to do comedy and be great at it.
I'm a nepotism baby by that of Canadianism.
I mean, I could use some of that. I feel like I was told that, like, all my stuff was amazing. And it's like, it's just never, and then I came, like, I was like, I'm going to kill it in New York. And it was not how it happened.
But all the Canadian, all the Canadians are just like, manage your expectations. And you're like, I'm happy now. I have a realistic expectation of what my life should be. Now you've given me joy, Canada. Thank you.
Finally figuring it out. Like, many years later.
I can't be hurt by my own standards. All right, cool. Let's go. Let's go. We have another sketch here. So, do we have any preamble for this sketch?
Yeah. So this one, like, we were actually like, it's funny how that did just happen. We were talking like, you run into the Sex and the City cast all the damn time here because of freaking And Just Like That, which is such a bad show. And it's clear that they're just like digging into the bottom of the barrel to put people on that show. And so you and I were talking, and my favorite impression that you do, Taylor, is Sarah Jessica Parker. And I was just like, I want to write a sketch where you're her. So it's like a little one. I would see it more as like probably something you would put on TikTok. But I thought, why not try it? So I finally wrote for a boy. I hope you're really excited.
I'm my heart is pounding with adrenaline. I'm fucking pumped. Let's go. I already felt powerful as a silent Pete Davidson before. And now this is my moment.
Parts.
Now I have 2 parts to make up for that.
Oh, you know what? Actually, Sam, you could be the agent. That way you have a part in this. Yeah. So you
got
one part.
No. I'm going to be Matthew McConaughey. I feel like he talks, all right. I don't know how he really talks. Perfect. Let's go. Introduce the sketch.
All right. This is interior Sarah Jessica Parker's home. A phone rings.
Hello, lover. Sarah Jessica Parker here. How can I help you today?
Hey, Sarah. It's your agent, Martha, calling. We got to talk about I'm so sorry. It's actually really hard to read without my glasses.
That's okay.
There's going to be some glare. We got to talk about it. And Just Like That, season 2.
Are we talking about how super duper excited you are?
Not exactly. Since you couldn't get Kim Cattrall back for season 2, we're going to need you to find even a bigger celeb to join the cast. So you got to go through that Rolodex and find us someone great. Shouldn't be a problem, right?
Not at all. I'm all over it.
The agent hangs up the phone and Sarah Jessica Parker starts going through her own phone.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hi, Jen. It's me, Sarah Jessica Parker, you remember from like the other biggest show in the 90s? Hello? Okay, bye-bye.
Ring, 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 ring.
Matthew, how are you doing?
All right.
Okay, let me cut to the chase, okay? I need you to join the cast for And Just Like That for season 2. So, you in for a little failure to launch reunion?
All right.
So you're in?
All right.
Did I get your voicemail again? Ah,
Ring, ring.
Nicholas! Kimmy! Bet.
Ring, 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 ring.
Okay, you're my last call. I know this feels like a step in a different direction for you, career-wise. I don't know what that was. Career-wise. But honestly, you're the biggest liar on the planet right now. And all acting is lying. So I think this would be a perfect for you. What do you say?
I say, what an inspiring step forward.
And Blackout. Let's give a round of applause for that sketch as well.
Very nice.
Oh, Taylor, your
Very good.
SJP is so good.
Thank you. For those not watching, for those, just listening.
For those
Yeah.
just listening.
Thank you.
For the listeners, not the watchers.
But even the watchers, I guess, too. Like,
Yeah.
when I was asking, I was like, should I bring my
Yeah.
I have this crazy wig, but I think it actually distracts, so I think it's good that I didn't.
But her hair is like such a main part of it,
That's
right?
true.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was so much fun.
That was so much
So
fun.
much fun.
Listen, while we have you both
Yeah.
here, I just want to ask you some really, maybe like a serious question or two. Is that okay?
Should we discuss it first?
Yeah.
What do you think? Best friend Taylor, what do you think?
I think.
Yeah, still talking to the microphone for
Yeah.
context.
I'm new. I don't know.
I think yes,
Okay,
obviously
I
we're
guess
doing
yeah,
it. This
yeah.
big turn
We can't
serious.
say
Yeah.
It won't be too serious, I
No,
swear.
you can get serious.
Dramatic improv.
Just dramatic improv, the worst thing in the world. I just want to know how both of you got into comedy and where this journey started for you, because you're our two guests, and we should humanize you a little bit. You're more than just great and funny people. We
Yeah.
want to know a little bit more about you.
You want ladies first?
Hey, you're a lady.
I'm not a lady.
No. Well, I'll be brief. I was an actor for a long time, like, the stage. And I was like, everyone was like, you're funny. And I was like, no, I just want to be taken seriously. And then, but growing up, I like Lucille Ball was always my influence. So it's just kind of weird that I, in my 20s, was like, no, I don't want to do that for some reason. And then I'm going to get a little bit dark here, but I lost my dad a couple years ago, and my dad was like a huge comedy guy. And he was always like, I really would love for you to do more of that. And I was sort of finding my way that way anyway, because the pandemic, and I feel like it was like an open avenue for people to like create stuff online. So I started doing that. And then when I lost him, I was like, this feels like the only thing I can, like, it just felt like a calling, And so I just kind of kept going in that direction, and then making a lot of stuff online, and then started as a result doing some live performances too, and taking more improv and doing more sketch and characters. I love doing characters, like original characters too. But yeah, that's kind of how my journey was. I'm sorry if that was too dark.
No.
it's
I mean,
perfectly
actually,
okay.
how dare you be vulnerable on this podcast?
Yeah.
Wow. You're
is a
talking about
comedy
your
podcast.
life. You're answering the question that I
I
asked
just
you.
feel
No, I'm
bad
joking.
now.
You
I'm
humanized
no,
yourself?
It was like,
How
it was
dare
like
you?
everyone was like quiet. I was
No,
like,
no, that's cool.
because we were listening.
No, we were
I'm
listening.
not used to that.
It's absolutely amazing, and thank you for sharing that. That's really, really, really cool.
I'm really sorry to hear that you lost your
Oh,
father too.
thanks. No, it's okay. I mean, he was so funny. Like, he was just like a real creative, like, weirdo. And I will say, comedy's the only thing you could world that I turned to. Like other people's comedy was like all I could. I was like, I need to laugh, and it's like truly just like the best thing in the world. So
Hell yeah.
Laughing is the only thing that when you're doing it, you physically can't think of any of your other problems.
Right.
Yeah.
So it does become like this weird form of like relief and therapy and like a way
Yeah.
for you to connect back with your father. So
yeah.
that was a great answer,
my
Taylor.
God.
You did so
You
good.
did so good.
You honestly answered.
It's why we're all such like, you know, dark, depressed comics, you know.
You can't have the light without the dark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so, Mackenzie, what about you?
I mean,
when
like
did you
mine's
get-
not that deep.
I'm sorry. I should have said
No.
that.
I mean, I think it like probably originally started just being like the awkward kid.
Mhm.
And as soon as you're able to make an adult laugh, it's like feels electric,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Like it feels like, oh my gosh, what else have I been doing with my time? Recess? No, this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And then my whole life I was always kind of like the funny friend, the like, oh, like we'll lean on Mackenzie and like conversations because she can like make anyone laugh kind of thing. And then I started dating a guy a little bit older than me, a little 11-year age
Ooh.
guy.
A little
guy.
scandalous.
I was 20, and so he was like 31.
Ooh.
Wow.
And
Big difference.
And,
big difference.
he was a stand-up comedian.
Oh.
And he had like this notebook.
Oh, we were all so excited for you. We thought that you were going to say something really cool, like he had a lot of money or something. He worked for a
And he
worked for a
finances me to
bank.
this day. No, I'm
Oh my
kidding.
God.
Was it Pete Davidson?
Was it Pete Davidson? If you date
Canadian
a third,
Pete Davidson.
yeah, Canadian Pete
Canadian Pete
Davidson.
I'm not going to confirm or deny if it was Pete Davidson. No, I'm kidding. But he had like this joke notebook, and I remember one day we were like hanging out, and he was like showing me it, and I was like, "Well, what if you just like said it like this instead?" Because like this joke wasn't working for him,
Mhm.
and then that became like our thing. Like he'd be like, "This joke's not working. Can you help me?" And then literally one day I showed up at his apartment and he didn't live there anymore. And he had like moved.
Classic male comedian
Yeah.
that you're dating.
He had like moved.
Wait,
And
what?
yeah, he had left.
What the
Just
fuck?
totally ghosted.
Like
And-
hardcore ghosting.
Yeah, we were like
Yep.
together. And like it just got into like my brain of like, and now you're gonna have to defeat him in comedy. Like
Yeah.
this
Oh,
is-
yes,
yeah.
vanquish him.
Yeah. And
Jaquish him.
Jaquish
him. And like we connected again like 2 years ago. Obviously I forgot it. I haven't been like the past 5 years like scheming.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
but we connected like about 2 years ago now, and he was like, I'm like in such awe of you, like you're this comedian in New York, and like he hasn't done it in like years, and
Wow.
so I won,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
you won.
Wow.
Oh my god, comedy is
funny
also about
how-
winning.
That happens with male comics that you're dating. I also dated a male comic when I was in college,
Yeah.
and I think he stopped doing comedy.
So funny.
I think he had to move back to where he was from.
And so
you
you
won.
won.
And so I won.
You won.
I
Yeah.
won. Yeah.
I love my origin story. I love it less that it got turned into an Amazon Prime show called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh.
I hate when I tell people and they're
Yeah.
like, so Maisel? I'm like, no, it's different.
It's
It's set
modern.
now. Yeah.
It was
Well.
2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. Yeah.
Amazing. Again, sometimes comedy is about vanquishing your enemies.
Yeah.
And
It's always about
thank you for
vanquishing
that.
your
I have
enemies.
one other question to ask both of you, and it's about your method, how you get into this stuff, what really gets those juices flowing. Do you write alone? Do you write with people? Where does your comedy sort of come from? Are you more of like a, you know, you have an experience and it sparks something?
That's a
Do
very
you
long
sit
question,
down
John.
in, like, a
You keep
room?
asking more questions.
You know, what is your favorite color?
John.
Also,
John.
like what
John.
what inspires you?
Yeah.
What's your sign? Just any of that.
Oh my God.
Any of that stuff. What's going on? What are you doing later?
Like,
what sort of television shows are you watching? You can answer any of those questions.
First of all, like I will answer those. I have
Yeah.
nowhere to be. Like, if you guys want me to sit here and answer questions, I'll do that all day.
Exactly, yeah.
Taylor,
I second
why don't you go first? Because I actually have the darker answer this time. I
Oh,
think
would
maybe.
you wanna go first then?
I think you should go first.
Okay. All right.
We have a rhythm here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So So the questions. Okay. So, where do I get my inspiration? Is that kind of like a question?
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
your like method? of what you do?
Method. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I mentioned. So I started off really doing impressions, and I actually was doing that like my whole life, not realizing it. Like I'd be at like, I was working at a bar for years and people were like, do Meg, do Francie, do, all the people I worked with, and I would just do it. And I never thought of like, I'm just an observer, I think. And I'm very like a physical comedian. So I feel like I always pick up on mannerisms that people do. So I'm just always observing, and I don't even plan, like, I think I'm not just like, I don't go to a coffee shop and like observe people. I think that's cool, but I don't do that. I just kind of like pick up on like tendencies that people do. And so that's one thing, that's one method that I have for impressions. And, I'm not going to say that I can do everyone. I mean, obviously like there's some voices that I'm like, ooh, I really got to work on that.
But you really can do a lot. Like it is incredible what she can do. Like, a fun game would be like, who can't you do? Like,
yeah, that would be a fun game. That would be me failing publicly, but I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. Obviously, like sometimes like men are a little harder sometimes, but I find that like I like doing them because like I feel very free to not like, especially when I'm like home and I have wig and I take my makeup off or I put like crazy eyebrows on, like I feel so cool being like, I feel free not being like looking nice, I think there's just like a real freedom in that, which also comes, I think Lucille Ball really influenced me in that because she was so beautiful, but like could be so not. And I think that that's just like so fun to do. Not saying you're beautiful. I'm just saying that like.
You are, first of all, don't say that. I'm like, what?
Self-deprecating.
Yeah, like you're in the line, I'm not beautiful.
No, I like her. Like I think it's cool that especially at that time she was able to be like, I'm gonna be like, whatever. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Long-winded answer. And then you said, writing. So I've started to do a little bit more like actual writing for original characters and a little stand-up. And I find that my best way of doing anything is just as it comes to me, I just write it in my phone.
Write it down the second it comes.
Yeah. And I think everyone probably, has that as well. But, finding a way to either compare myself. I have this bit right now where I'm like comparing myself to brie cheese. It's funnier, but finding like an angle that way. Or I've been listening to a lot of other comedians talk about their method, and I feel very like imposter syndrome. So I always try to listen to other people. Mm-hmm. And I'm a Taurus.
I'm also a Taurus.
What? There we go.
Shut up.
Wait, what's your birthday?
May 8th.
My birthday's May 8th.
No, it is not. Are you actually from real Sam? What year were you born?
1988.
1986.
Oh
my God.
I'm so much older than both of you.
It's not just funny. It's about discovery. It's about discovering.
Insane, actually. Yeah.
We're like friends for life now.
Obviously, yeah. Sorry, Taylor. I have a new best friend.
April 27th.
I love an April Taurus. They're always a little bit more fiery.
Yes. We're way more grounded.
The longer you get into May, the more like lazy you get.
And like it goes from like grounded to like lazy because you're like getting just deeper and deeper into
we're like halfway through the midpoints and we're like more grounded, but then the later Mays are just like, oh, like get out of bed, man.
That makes a lot of sense actually, because everyone's always like, you don't seem like a Taurus to me because they're like, you're kind of neurotic, And I'm like, you're right, I don't. But that makes sense. Maybe because you said earlier.
And you're very trustworthy. Again, we've known each other for like an hour.
But you can just tell.
I can just tell. It's an instinct I have as a Taurus. Yeah.
We're all
your method.
So so what I do when I've been doing stand-up for like 5 years and I've always been like good at it. Like just like, these are the jokes that I'm telling and whatever. And then about 2 years, I keep saying 2 years because it's been 2 years since I moved to New York, but this probably happened closer to like 12 months ago. I was like having really bad panic attacks again, which I hadn't had since I was like a little kid. Mm-hmm. I had them a little bit during the pandemic, but not a lot. I was having these like really bad panic attacks. Like the world just felt like it was falling apart. And I remember just being like fully closed. I was about to go to an open mic and I was like, you need to like stop having this panic attack or you won't get to the mic and you need to get to the mic. And so I just like got in my bathtub in my apartment and turned the shower on while being like fully clothed.
I've been there.
Yeah. And I just like cried and it was like releasing it all. And then
very helpful.
I got to the mic and I'm like, do you guys ever cry while laying down in the shower? And like, I got a laugh that I've like never gotten before. And I like really worked on that joke. And it's become the joke that has gone like viral for me the most.
It's your opening joke.
It's my opening joke. I've like done it whenever I'm like in an awkward situation on stage, because those still happen. I'll just do it. I like just lay down on the stage. I'm like, you guys ever do this in the shower? It's like an easy go-to. But from that experience, I'm like, oh, when you're going through stuff is the time to write comedy.
Yeah.
Because it's the way to look at it differently.
I think that's how male comics perceive it, and they constantly try to go through stuff that's like really
put
bad
themselves
for
through
that.
things. Yeah.
We don't have to worry about that because it just happens.
Women don't have to worry about that at all.
But the trick is to make sure that you write it when you're in that
When
state.
you're in that state,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like getting to do that mic immediately after was such like a blessing. It felt a bit like a curse, but I was like, no, because I got to immediately do it. And I have that recording, which is great. Yeah, and just ever since then, if something bad's happening, I'm like, this is the time
I
to write.
need to pick up a pencil right now. Yeah.
And it's also like we were saying, the best way to like distract from what's going on is to be like, but it's all a freaking joke, actually.
Yeah.
Everything in life is actually made up.
Yeah.
None of this is real.
Yeah. And so why not just be hella funny?
Hella funny.
Well, again, thank you so much for both coming on. Do you guys have anything coming up, or where can people find you? Again, one more time, plug yourselves as hard as you can before we sign off.
Taylor.
Well, I have 2 shows at the moment. February 23rd at a really cute little spot called Jill Lindsay in Fort Greene.
Nice.
Very like vibey like this in a way. And then I have another show March 30th at Figma Bar in like Soho.
I should say that this episode probably won't be out until like
Cool.
March.
Well, maybe I'll have more. And then just follow. Hopefully there will be more because I love performing. We'll see. So yeah, and then Taylor G.
Yeah. You can find me everywhere at Pretty Funny Comedy. We actually just bought the domain name Pretty Funny Comedy.
Nice.
It's really exciting. And yeah, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on everything. Nice. You can also find me at my home address. No, I'm kidding.
You can come to my front door.
I'll talk to you.
I live at 205 25th Street.
Want to go to
Kips
Chipotle
Bay.
together?
Always down.
All right, well, thanks so much. We don't have a catchphrase. We don't have an exit thing that we're going.
We have not planned anything.
We have not
beyond
planned
this.
a little catch thing that we're gonna say to end the podcast. But once again, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And podcast adjourned.
Podcast adjourned.
I don't know how you end. I don't know how you're supposed
That's
to end
it,
the
folks.
podcast.
You do the gorgeous,
That's
gorgeous
it.
girls chant.